Okay, we'd like to welcome Patrick Cantlay, 2022 BMW Championship winner for the second time in a row. Patrick, that's never been done before in the history of the FedEx Cup playoffs, a champion to defend a playoffs title. How meaningful was that to do that today and achieve that feat?
Yeah, definitely. I think every time, I've tried to defend, I don't think I've been able to do it, but it's something that you definitely circle on your calendar as something you want to do. And these golf courses, like I said earlier this week, reminded me a lot of each other. And, I was glad not to go 6 holes in a playoff today.
Well, with the victory, you moved to number 2 in the FedEx Cup, and now you'll go to Eastlake next week with a chance to defend there, which is another feat that's never been achieved. This year it's a little different. You'll be starting 2 back instead of ahead. Just talk about having the opportunity to achieve that feat next week.
Yeah, I'm in a really good spot. It'll be a little different of a type of a challenge this year, obviously being 2 behind Scotty. He's played a lot of great golf this year, so I expect the same. But it's a golf course I really like, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
And just before we take questions, that shot on the last, coming down the last, driving into the bunker, that bunker shot was really impressive and almost made the putt too, but knowing that you needed a 2-putt was amazing. Just talk us through that shot on the last.
Yeah, it's not the spot I wanted to be. Ball was above my feet. I had about 160 to the hole, and I tried to slice an 8-iron about as hard as I could, and went to about where I thought I could get it, and it was one of the best shots I hit all week.
All right, we'll take some questions. We'll start with Doug with the mic.
Pat, if you could take us back to 17 for a minute, your thought as the ball was in the air, and were you surprised by it all?
Yeah, very much so. I thought hitting it on that line, it would for sure be in a bunker. Got a excellent break. Maybe one of the best breaks I've ever gotten coming down the stretch. And when you get a break like that, you need to pay it off. And fortunately, I did.
Questions?
What was it like sharing the 18th green with Xander there?
Yeah, I'm glad to return the favor after Travelers. It's always fun being with Xander, and we were paired together all 4 days this week. And I think we fed off each other, but we both played really well. And it's obviously a really comfortable pairing for both of us. And, I think we played Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday through Sunday together this week. So it was nice to spend time with one of my best buddies out here.
Do you realize that if Xander had made that putt, you would have gone to number 1 seed? And were you... you probably didn't know that, did you?
I didn't, no.
You still like him?
Very much. I was rooting for him.
If you could kind of compare, I know they're totally different, courses, everything else, but, you talk about getting a nice break on 17. You probably got a couple of breaks, I would think, last year. You made a lot of them yourself. Do you see any similarities in terms of the, the drama or the intensity?
It was a different feeling type of tournament than last year. Last year, the fans were so loud and raucous, and then that arena coming down the stretch, and obviously I was behind playing the last few holes, which felt a lot different than playing with a 1-shot lead on the last hole. But the golf courses reminded me of each other, and definitely drawing on past experiences is something I've talked about, and so I'll draw on a bunch of experiences from last year going into next week as well.
Adam.
Patrick, do you think one of your skills is figuring out a way to win, whether it's golf or whether it's gin or whether it's any other game you like to play?
I think I'm very competitive, and I always have been. So it definitely grinds my gears if I don't win, and I'll do everything I possibly can to win.
What did it do to you when you had a tough day in the final round at Travelers?
Yeah, it stung. That's nothing that you want to do ever. And I've had a bunch of close Sundays this year, and not all of them have gone my way, opposed to last year at the end of the year where it felt like all the Sundays went my way. And I think it just drives you to practice a little harder. And, I've been playing great golf all year, so I knew that if I just kept knocking on the door and kept, staying in a positive frame of mind and trusting myself, that I'd knock off a few victories.
So next to Adam.
Patrick, congratulations. Historic first for you going back-to-back BMW Championship. Also historic first for the state. How do you feel about the tour just being able to expand to another different part of the country now?
Yeah, I think it's great, and we saw how excited the fans were this week. They were amazing all week, and this golf course provided great theater, especially coming to the last hole where it's that amphitheater feel. And they were cheering me the whole way, and I had a bunch of friends and family out here this week, and so it was just a great feel and great energy all week.
Ryan, go ahead.
Patrick, how will leading last year at Eastlake and being the eventual champion inform the way that you'll approach next week, now trailing by 2?
I remember last year just trying to stay really in the moment day after day, and thinking that with that couple shots advantage, depending on how you look at it, I'll be 2 behind this year. Just trying to shoot under par every day and not lose sight of that. And so I'll definitely draw on those memories from last year and try and stay as focused and in the moment as possible.
Ryan, can you hand that mic to Ben and Bob behind you? Thank you. Bob.
Pat, you're usually a pretty stoic guy. We kind of saw you licking your lips there on the shot approach on 18. Once you hit it, did you know you kind of just pulled something, I don't want to say out of your butt, but something that had a very high degree of difficulty?
Yeah, I knew it was a tough shot, obviously, when I saw it. And I thought if I could get it anywhere on the green, it would be a really, really good shot. And so I actually had a good number for the 8-iron that I hit out of the bunker. The biggest challenge was trying to cut the golf ball enough with the ball above my feet in the bunker. But it came off almost exactly how I would have pictured it, how I visualized it. And, I thought at best, or I thought more than likely I'd be on the lower shelf there.
Go ahead, Bob.
Patrick, you said the other day that you felt the format at Eastlake was still a little strange to you after a few years. And yet you seemed to handle it just fine last year, and now this year obviously a little bit of a different situation. We just wonder if you could talk about putting that aside just to be able to get the job done.
Yeah, I think how I feel about something doesn't necessarily affect my performance one way or the other. I try to be as objective as possible. And that tournament, especially with the staggered start, I think rewards somebody who doesn't lose sight of the fact that they're still playing a 4-round golf tournament and they need to lay down the best 72-hole score possible. And then, you can start to look at the leaderboard on Sunday on the back nine. But until then, you're just trying to shoot under par every day. And for me, a mantra of mine last year was to stay in the moment.
Ben, go ahead.
Mate, why do you think no one has defended the FedEx Cup?
Good question. I would maybe a Tiger injury. I expect him to have almost every record, so it's kind of surprising. Even I knew that, but surprising that he didn't has never defended. But I think with it being a year-long race, it's a difficult goal to achieve because it's not just one tournament. You have to put yourself in position for the whole year, and then that week you have to perform as well. I think it's a nice pat on the back or carrot at the end, but never anything I'm really thinking about too seriously when I'm out there doing it.
Jeff in the back.
Patrick, just wondering, any similarities between Caves Valley last year, Wilmington this year, and is there something about BMW Championship courses broadly that really suits you?
I think I really like the bent grass golf courses, and both those golf courses are bent grass all the way through. It's just a grass that I feel really comfortable on. And so, in general, I like the northeast tree-lined golf courses. And I think, this golf course in particular this week rewarded driving the golf ball in the fairway, and I did that really well.
Doug, go ahead.
Players talk, and I think you have as well, of learning from losses or the experience of what have you. You also need a few breaks or good things to go your way when you win. So how do those two square up? I mean, how do you take away from a loss while at the same time you need a few good bounces here and there?
The thing I always remind myself of, when I finish second or I'm close is, Jack Nicklaus had more seconds in majors than he had wins. And that stat will shock you considering he has the most majors ever. No one would ever say he couldn't close or no one would say that he, wilted under pressure, and yet he had more second places than, anybody else. So with that being said, I think putting yourself in position is maybe the thing that you can control in golf. You can't always control what other people around you do or where you get the right bounce or the wrong bounce. But putting yourself in contention time after time after time, the bounces are going to go your way, and you'll get your fair share of wins.
Go Band and then Ryan.
Patrick, you've went head-to-head against Xander a lot over the years. Who do you think has the edge overall?
I'll tell you what, I like being on the same side as him a lot more than going head-to-head against him. I'm already looking forward to President's Cup playing with Xander. We play head-to-head every practice round all year when we're in the same events. So we definitely play a lot of golf against each other, and he's gotten the best of me, and I've gotten the best of him. It just depends on the day.
Ryan, and then Adam in front of you.
Patrick, after the Player of the Year last year, what do you think you and your team do better this year compared to that?
I'll have to say my team is really solid. Every person to a man is working as hard as they possibly can to achieve the same goal, and I'm very lucky to have people that not only are on my team but are good friends. I spend a lot of time with them traveling. A lot of times we'll stay in the same houses together on the road, and I couldn't do what I do without them. They definitely make me better each and every day.
As a player, is there anything you do better this year than last fall?
I feel like my body feels a little better. I feel like I'm always trying to work in the gym to try and get a little more range of motion, a little more control at the end ranges, to just incrementally try and hit the golf ball a little farther. So I'd say my body's been a little more resilient this year, and I've played a lot of golf the last couple months, maybe the most golf I've played in a couple months stretch since I came back in 2017, and I feel good, and so that is a testament to the hard work I've put in with my team to get there.
Adam?
Patrick, after the bogey at 10, you're two back. What are you thinking at that point, and how likely did you think you'd be sitting here right now?
My head wasn't even there. I tried to stay as focused and in the moment as possible. Obviously, from 120 yards, I was pretty pissed to make bogey from the middle of the fairway on 10, which you would think would be a birdie hole. The wind kind of fooled me. But the story of the week for me was when I made a bogey, I birdied the next hole quite a few times. I think both times yesterday and then at least one of the times today. So being able to bounce back like that and get the momentum on your side, I think was really key for me to make that putt for birdie on 11.
Go back to Doug. Thank you.
My apologies for asking you so much about losing in the midst of this great victory of yours, but I'm kind of fascinated at what you'd said a minute ago. So a couple of things. I'm sure everyone takes pride in closing. What kind of a blow to your ego is it when you don't, and how long does it usually take before you find some satisfaction from what you said of putting yourself there?
I do my best to try to remove my ego from the equation as much as possible. Of course. I would say I usually try not to be... I try not to really totally digest what happened right away. So I'll try and give myself a couple days so I can try and systematically look back and see what I could have controlled to do better the next time. But if you put yourself in contention enough times, I mean, you're not gonna close the deal every time. And so you have to be cognizant of that going in. And once you accept that that's a reality, I think it makes it a lot easier to play as free as possible coming down the stretch. I thought so. I was very in the moment, and I didn't really get ahead of myself at all. And being able to play the last 6 holes or so, a couple under par on the type of golf course in the shape that it was in today, I think was fantastic.
What would you consider the most significant shot you hit today before you got to the 17th?
Before the 17th, I would say, like I said, rolling in that birdie putt on 11 after bogeying 10 to get the momentum back on my side. It was, a putt that you kind of had to keep your speed up because it broke quite a lot to the right. And, especially after the bad bogey on 10, trying to get that momentum back on my side for the closing stretch was key.
All right. Congratulations on your 8th Tour title and your 2nd this season, and all the best at the Tour Championship next week, Patrick. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Got it.